Welcome to the podcast. Today we're diving deep into a text that really challenges your thinking about wisdom and folly. It's a book full of practical wisdom and reflections on life called Quote DAH.
Right. It's so interesting how the book kicks off with a preface that sets a professional, almost fearless tone, like, don't copy, don't reproduce, and then moves right into combining previous life lessons and philosophies.
Exactly. It's like the author, Meshach Ford, wants you to embrace the wisdom from his earlier works, sort of reimagined for today's reader.
Yeah. And then we see the table of contents mapping out chapters with titles like Don't Be a Fool, Wisdom, Wise Lesson Advice, and Cultivate Life Knowledge. It almost feels like a blueprint for living mindfully.
Absolutely. The first chapter, Don't Be a Fool, really stands out. There's a clear message about not planning your entire life based on pure imagination, or worse, surrounding yourself with foolish influences.
Yeah, one of the verses there, for instance, warns that if you try to maneuver someone with a pre-planned scheme, you'll inherit a foolish mindset. It's like planning too rigidly is its own trap.
Right? And it's almost like the text uses a series of analogies, comparing laziness to a seed that can grow into sin, or being fooled by glory as an entombment of potential better
Yep.
futures.
What I really found compelling is how it doesn't shy away from discussing the consequences of laziness or dependence. It explicitly states that laziness can spiral into multiple problems, from poverty to compromised decision making.
Exactly. And it also talks about respecting yourself and being cautious about who you trust. There's this striking verse that suggests that trust should be seen more like a check rather than cash, a rather creative analogy.
Right. That metaphor definitely challenges you to think critically about how you invest your trust in people. But I did wonder, don't you think that sometimes being too cautious might actually isolate a person?
That's a good point, but the text seems to push back against blind trust because it can leave you vulnerable to exploitation. It's a balance, really, being cautious without becoming completely
True.
isolated.
I also noticed it stresses the idea that, you know, true wisdom isn't just about knowing what's right, it's about transforming that knowledge into action. And that's a recurring theme as we move into the wisdom chapter.
Absolutely. The wisdom chapter is packed with ideas on how life's experiences accumulate and how you have to trade your willingness for meaningful wisdom. It's like every challenge is an investment that pays dividends in understanding later.
Right. And one verse pointed out that reality, truth, and the effort you put into a challenge are inseparable. It argues that how you start and how you finish can determine your future, not just the outcome, but the process itself.
Yes, and the interplay between knowledge and wisdom is fascinating. The text even warns about how sharing too much wisdom with a fool might actually backfire, empowering the foolish rather than protecting you.
Exactly, got it. There's also a neat observation in the Wise Lesson Advice chapter, where it touches on the evolution of human wisdom, like how our ancestral strengths have molded our ability to learn from mistakes.
Yeah, it almost reads like a pep talk, that our very being is seeded with the potential to learn and adapt. It argues that even when you're faced with the ugly side of human nature, like laziness or deception, you can still pull yourself up through wise
Yep.
actions.
And it's interesting how that chapter also ties in the concept of willpower. It suggests that your body is just a vessel for your mind, and if you let negative habits take root, they can manifest as major life obstacles, right?
Exactly. It's like if you mix in laziness with negative influences, you're practically inviting failure. And pushing back against that by actively using your willpower is what the text emphasizes over and over.
Precisely. But I sometimes find the style a bit repetitive when stressing these points. Do you think the repetition serves a purpose, or is it more like a stylistic flaw?
I think it's intentional. The repetition drives home the importance of the message. Like, if you're going to live by this wisdom, you have to really internalize it. It's almost poetic.
I get that, yeah. And then, when we get to cultivate life knowledge, the text takes a more reflective tone. It talks about not saying I can't, and about the significance of surrounding yourself with people who inspire growth.
Exactly. It's all about self-improvement. It underscores that cultivating yourself is a personal journey. You can learn from others, but the onus is on you to push yourself forward.
Yep, that part really hits home. One verse really got me thinking. It poses a question about how even the smallest insect can wake another being from slumber. It's like every little effort can lead to a larger awakening, which is both poetic and um, a bit unexpected.
Yes, and that's a powerful metaphor. It reminds you that every small action can incubate significant personal growth. It's like a ripple effect where one tiny change impacts a bigger picture.
Mhm. And speaking of change, I really appreciated how the text challenges you to avoid falling into a cycle of excuses. Whether it's laziness or the habit of complaining, the core message is to take proactive steps, even if that means stepping out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. The insistence on action is pervasive throughout. Even in the wise lesson advice chapter, there's this candid notion that doing nothing is a job only for a fool. It's quite blunt, yet effective.
Right on point. And then there's that whole discussion about reputation and respect. The text warns that if you don't respect yourself, you might as well expect others not to, which, I mean, is something many of us struggle with sometimes.
That's true. It essentially says that your actions, your real deeds, shape how you're perceived. And if you're not diligent, you could end up becoming, well, a fool, according to the author's definition.
That's a tough truth. I also liked how the text ties it into business or life as a startup. Success isn't just going to happen unless you're active. It's a reminder that complacency can be your greatest enemy.
Absolutely, and that idea resonates across chapters. Whether it's about not taking shortcuts with wisdom or breaking bad habits, the whole thing is about putting in the work and embracing the journey.
Yeah, working smart and hard. You know, one of the more challenging parts is the sheer density of the verses. With so many individual points, it sometimes feels overwhelming. Do you think it might have benefited from tighter editing?
That's a fair critique. While the volume of advice may seem a bit too much at times, it does offer a broad palette of reflections. Perhaps a more concise approach would benefit readers who prefer a cleaner
True,
line
might
of
be easier
thought.
to digest. And yet the text style, with its repetition and direct language, can act as a mnemonic device. It forces you to really embed these principles in your mind.
Exactly. It's as if the author wants to hammer in the idea that being wise isn't passive. It's an active, ongoing practice. You know, every moment is an opportunity to choose wisely rather than be well foolish.
Absolutely. And it lays out clear, almost step-by-step advice on dealing with challenges. From not letting laziness dominate your life to understanding the critical nature of self-reliance.
Yes, it's all about taking ownership, whether it's about managing your time better or even learning from failures. Every snippet of wisdom is about building a solid foundation for your future.
Very grounded. The philosophical undertone throughout is that wisdom is not just about knowing what to do. It's also about, you know, being prepared to act and even risk failure. It's a call to um, step out of inertia and live deliberately.
Precisely. And in a world where distractions are endless, the call to cultivate life knowledge, to stay determined and work on yourself, stands as a timeless reminder.
Right, that resonates deeply. As we wrap up, what do you think the overarching message of quote DAH is?
I think it's about living intentionally, not letting laziness, blind trust, or foolish habits drag you down, but instead actively cultivating wisdom, knowledge, and self-respect to navigate the complexities of life.
True, exactly. And while the text is certainly dense in parts, it carries a clear mandate. Work on who you are, learn continuously, and never settle for mediocrity.
Yes, it's a call for consistent self-improvement. Even if at times its delivery seems repetitive or overwhelming, the heart of the message is empowering. Choose wisely, act consciously, and always keep learning.
Well said. I really appreciate how it challenges us to face our own shortcomings, to avoid becoming the fool we once feared. And in doing that, it gives us tools to build a more fulfilling life.
Exactly. So, if you're looking for a text that tries to merge ancient wisdom with modern challenges, Quote DIH definitely offers a lot to chew on. Remember, wisdom isn't accidental. It's a choice you make every day.
Absolutely. And that's a wrap for our discussion today. Thanks for this engaging dive into the text. It's given me plenty to think about.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Keep questioning, keep learning, and keep choosing wisely.
Yeah!